Yeah, so the primary role of Space Force is to facilitate a global internet backbone that is space-based. And that's a huge imperative for the United States military, for the United States population, to be able to have high-speed, reliable connectivity anywhere in the world they are at a given time. It also, with this mesh network, gives us much fewer points of attack. Like if you were to try to attack the United States and neutralize our communications grid, right now a lot of things flow through backbone data centers. So what this does is it makes a mesh network through tens of thousands of satellites spread out all over the place. So it makes it a much bigger, harder thing to do to take out our communications if you were to try to attack us in the future. So a lot of people ask me like, well, how do you think the military can run the internet? What is the precedent for that? And I always tell them it's the GPS satellites. So right now, the GPS satellites for everyone's GPS and all their phones, it's run by the Space Command in the Air Force. And so it's one of those things that started off as a military tool. And as it got refined and scaled up over time, they ended up opening it up to everybody who would like to use it. So if you're a software developer, you want to make a phone app, the GPS that you're pulling from is a free service facilitated by Space Command of the United States Air Force. And now Space Command has moved into the Space Force. And so it's an infrastructure provider. It's a communications facilitator. It's going to move into like a more protecting the internet type of role, right? Because cyber attacks are ramping up. They're getting more and more sophisticated, and our existing telecoms really aren't good at doing anything to stop that. And as we move into the age of the quantum internet, which the quantum internet is a technology that can interface directly with people's brains with no hardware connection whatsoever, um, it's going to be imperative that we have some sort of powerful entity to protect our brains from the likes of the Googles and the Facebooks of the world, who think that anything they can connect to is they're free to mine all the data out of. So it's annoying when they do it on their phones, but it'd be extra bad if they did that into our brains and we're mining our thoughts and memories and whatnot. So moving into the future, it's also going to be to protect space-based activities and assets. So if we're mining on the moon, on an asteroid far away, having a military force that, while other countries are doing that or other entities are doing that, we can be providing them with security. It's kind of like in the back in the colonial days, they would the European countries would send their navies to go protect their economic interests across the world, and allow them to project that power, allow them not to get ripped off. And it's obviously at the time it was very expensive to be conducting these voyages, as it'll be expensive to conduct those voyages in space. So it's to make sure that we stay secure out there, that anybody conducting economic activities can do so safely and securely. And then finally, we're going to be turning the Space Force into the space and air traffic control. So as there's all these companies building their various rockets and their various space-bound vehicles, it's going to serve like an air traffic control for the air on the Earth and for outer space, to make sure that people aren't running into each other, to make sure if there's a giant cloud of space junk flying by, you're not getting shredded up. So it's just going to be a very exciting thing.